Good afternoon on what is a mild, bright but blustery day. It is Sunday the 21st of September. I'm in the reading up a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. What we're going to pull out of here is What a Carve Up. This is by Jonathan Coe, who is actually a Birmingham author. And I have to be honest, I'd heard of this, and the only other book I'd heard of Jonathan Coe's was The Rotters Club, and I've only seen the television series, so I've not read anything by him at all. But this is one of the books which has been added to our reading list for the monthly book club that I belong to. And this is coming up in a couple of months because essentially I am, to be fair, 2 books ahead, because that's the one after this one. Pavane is the book I'm reading after the current read through of Night Watch by Terry Pratchett, and the books this series are alternating between alternate history and humour. And if this is an alternate history, Pavane by Keith Roberts, this is the next humour book. And of which basically the host of the book club is a big fan. It's the 1980s, and the Winshaw family are getting richer and crueler by the year. Newspaper columnist Hilary gets thousands for telling it like it isn't. Henry's turning hospitals into car parks, and Roddy's selling art in return for sex. Down on the farm, Dorothy's squeezing every last pound from her livestock. Thomas is making a killing on the stock exchange, and Mark is selling arms to dictators. But once the hapless biographer Michael Owen starts investigating the family trail of greed, corruption and immoral doings, the time grows right for Winshaws to receive their comeuppance. So, this is essentially basically a comic revenge novel against the greed of the good and the bad, mostly the bad. Essentially, we've got some praise there, bit of a biography for Jonathan Coe, and credits before we get into the contents, and some quotations which apply here. Cocteau's screenplay to Orphy, and Louis Phillips for Yuri Gagarin. So the prologue covers 1942 to 1961, and that includes a family tree. So we are dealing with a family of rotters, as it were. Essentially, and various things happen to them, got the attempted burglary at Winshaw Towers, a double tragedy there. Someone's already been lost in the Second World War. An interesting use of newspaper media at the time to enhance the story. The action switches to London. And we have illustrations of the various characters. So that they are making quite a use of other media and so on. So essentially, to tell the story, and even then you've got an actual interview in the middle of the book. To tell the story, to tell the ongoing story and the characters, even things like classifieds. Focusing on it basically, essentially, obviously these sections are focusing on particular members of the family, and exploring their activities. And how they essentially come to conduct those activities, become famous, become wealthy, and then suffer a downfall. So it's going quite the way through, sort of like the late 20th century, or mid to late 20th century. So I'm trying to find a date here. So up to 1990 here. It seems as we go on, there's kind of less of the sort of like the other media intrusions. Now we're moving sort of like into the beginning of the 90s. And then, we actually get onto, this is all part one. So this is above the program, we've got part two, an organisation of deaths. And essentially what happens to the family, I suppose. So just flipping through, and even have an advert, sort of like, it's essentially a section there for the Winshaw legacy of family chronicle. Essentially, as if, you know, it had been written. Author's own note, basically give some context to what he's written. And another advert for one of his books there. So that is What a Carve Up. I'm sort of looking forward to reading this. It's generally longer than the sort of like the size of books we do read at the book club. So I'm glad I'm actually a bit ahead there. So anyway, I hope you do enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box, typically containing a role-playing game, supplement or scenario, in this case a novel by Jonathan Coe, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.